We're back, and it's gonna be the juiciest episode of this season.
Is this the juiciest one yet?
Yeah, this has the sticky
this
page.
This is a sticky page episode. This is a sticky chapter. It's the whole chapter's pretty. There's a real horny chapter.
Wet chapter.
Wet. But in the meantime, let's dig into a little bit of shit-talking ranting. It is the 1st of October when we are recording this, which means Halloween!
Halloween's upon us. Now, if you're a hardcore Halloween person, you've been wearing black for 30 years. But this is when I think the reasonable Halloween people start to celebrate.
Yes.
Beginning of the month, if you're a lady, you've probably been thinking about costumes a little bit longer than this. But if you're in a couple, you've been thinking about a couple's costume.
Are you guys going to couple it this year?
If you're in my couple, you've pitched several costumes and had your boyfriend go, I don't know.
What did you guys do last year for Halloween?
Nothing.
Oh. All right, what are you going to do this year?
Probably nothing. I'm going to be in New Orleans, though, because I'm shooting my special.
Wait, I'm sorry. You're going to be in New Orleans for Halloween?
The weekend before Halloween? Oh, yeah. The most haunted weekend there is in one of the most haunted cities.
Oh, it's going to be popping off.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
You're there for the craziest weekend ever.
Yeah, I'm shooting my special on the 24th, which is a Thursday. If you're in New Orleans.
And you're still trying to get Taylor Swift tickets?
Taylor Swift tickets. Taylor Swift's there all weekend. It's going to be, which means it's witchy Swifties all over New Orleans.
Wow, I can't even imagine.
I just realized, I'm like, we've got to book our ghost tour now. They're going to fill up.
Oh, those ghost tours are already full. You're fucked. There's no ghost tour.
Fuck. No.
But you have to come with like next level costume. If you're going to be there with Swifties, those girls are not fucking around. I mean, those girls aren't fucking around not on Halloween.
But everyone's going to be dressed as, looks like my dog's trying to nurse. Yes, it's not a dog, it's a black cat. Shh, no questions.
She's so fucking cute. Hold on, I gotta take a picture.
But everyone also, it's like, are people going to be in costumes at the Swift concert? Or are they all going to be in like Taylor Swift era's wear?
What if they're going in costumes as the era?
What if we all go as Taylor Swift? Everyone gets bangs, even the men.
Wow. Could you imagine if everyone dressed exactly like Taylor Swift and it was just a weird alternate universe of everybody looking exactly like Taylor Swift?
Could you imagine if somehow we were able to spread that word so it happened, but Taylor Swift didn't know about it, and her walking out and being like, what the fuck? Everybody has the same haircut.
But you can't get anything past Mommy.
No, she's on.
She would know about it immediately.
She probably knows about it now.
Yeah, she heard she's here.
She's like the NSA. She knows her name.
Taylor. Yeah, no, sorry. We would never orchestrate anything behind your back. That's crazy. I think that's a great idea. I hope that happens. It probably won't, but now backup costumes. What are you thinking for costumes this season?
I mean, I would love, if I was going to be around, I would love to do a group costume of A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
I feel like nobody's doing that. Probably a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Otherwise I'm like not, I did last night or maybe 2 nights ago, Nate and I started watching The Penguin. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what if we went as the Penguin and Sophia, I'm going to fuck up her last name. It's not Marconi. It's the lady.
The chick who's in Penguin.
Yeah. What if we went as Penguin and the chick who's in Penguin who's crazy? She just got out of Arkham Asylum. She's a serial killer. She's fucking nuts.
Is this a new character? I've never heard of this person.
She's probably in the comic books. I'm not like deep in the comic books. There's so many different directions that all of those books, like Batman, Spider-Man, go. There's so many different lores.
Somebody tweeted something so funny about being offended that they got Colin Farrell
to play the Penguin?
To play the Penguin, and they had to put him in a fat suit. And it's just like, how many fat guys out there were like, I was made for that role?
I will say, knowing that the last person who played it was Danny DeVito, I was bummed.
Was that the last person who played?
There's probably another penguin at some point in between. The most iconic penguin
is Danny DeVito.
Is Danny DeVito, and he has a penguin vibe, and it is like, okay, so you have to be hot to be in Hollywood, but you can't even like be ugly and get the ugly roles.
There's gotta be an ugly big dude out there who can play the Penguin.
Yeah, there's gotta be some kind of Italian guy.
But at this point, no one's thin anymore. I mean, no one's fat anymore. I mean,
in America?
No, in Hollywood.
Well, yeah, okay, drive to Riverside.
I mean, but we're talking all the actors. Everybody's just
He's also not even American. He's playing this New Yorker.
By the way, have you seen the trailer for the new Anna Kendrick movie that she directs and stars in?
No.
It's based on a true story about a serial killer in Hollywood that this serial killer, like, they meet live on a TV show, The Dating Show. Anyways, Anna Kendrick is in it. She also directs it. It's her directing debut. The trailer for it is haunting. We can't talk about it because you've never seen it, but I feel like we should watch this together. I mean, you are Anna Kendrick. So
yeah, unfortunately, Hollywood was like, we have enough of that.
Yeah, we
have Anna Kendrick. If she says no to anything, we'll call Ellen. What's her name?
Ellen Pompeo?
No, Ellen
DeGeneres?
No, Ellen
Bernstein?
Is her name not Ellen?
Ellen Page?
Elliot Page. But also yes, until Ellen became Elliot. What is her? I'm gonna have to cut this out because it's so embarrassing. Easy A.
I don't know.
She's in that movie where she plays that thing that comes to life. It's like, it's like recently got an Oscar.
I have no idea. But let's get back to Halloween.
Someone tell me whom I'm talking about in the comments.
Yeah, someone let us know. Okay, so if you were here, we would do A Court of Thorns and Roses. You would be Tiny Tamlin.
Tiny Tamlin. I have the long blonde hair. I have the green eyes. It only makes sense.
I would want to be Rhysand.
You want to be Rhysand?
Yeah, because I have that black wig. You know my black wig with like the blunt black wig?
No. What do you have, like
my,
a Pulp
my
Fiction
bangs,
wig?
my bangs, like I have it's kind of a Pulp Fiction. It's a little bit longer, but it's like a good black wig.
I also have Farquaad wig? I'm Rhysand. You're Lord Farquaad. No, if I tried to do it, that's what would happen to me.
Rhysand would be fun. I mean, I don't know who else I would want to be.
I mean,
I would want to be a fairy that has wings.
I mean, those are the best ones.
Those are the best ones.
They're the best ones. Who doesn't want to fly?
You should be Teeny Tiny Tamlin for sure.
I just think it's funny. And also, look at my nails. Some of my claws are coming out and some aren't. Rare. Tiny Tamlin.
Did you not dress up at all last year?
I can't remember if I did.
I did Beetlejuice last year. I did.
You finally did Beetlejuice.
I did Delia Dietz.
I feel like you've talked about it for centuries.
Yeah, I did Delia Dietz, Catherine O'Hara's character.
Yeah,
Lydia Dietz's mom, greatest character ever. I did the Deo scene where she had the little sideburn squiggles. Murdered
gorgeous.
it. So that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I don't think I did anything last year.
Okay, well this year you're about to have a New Orleans.
Yeah,
Halloween.
It's going to be the greatest Halloween of all time. I may not even have a costume, and it will be the greatest Halloween. But I'm going to have costumes in the sense of I want to wear outfits that are loud and big and fun. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm going to be dressed up as anyone.
Yeah.
So much as just like, it's New Orleans. We got to put on our sequins and hit the streets.
Yeah.
I should just go as the mom from Waterboy.
Speaking of Waterboy.
Kathy Bates.
Side note, I have to tell you about the person who's associated with Waterboy. I have to give you an update on that person.
Right.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about, but yes.
The person who knows a person is related to a person who was in Waterboy, remember?
Yes.
Yes.
It's all coming back.
It's all coming back to me now.
Oh, okay. Actually, it is all coming back to me now.
Yeah. Here's what I want to know. For our male listeners, do you guys get excited about Halloween, or is this just I know girls get fucking jazzed. And I know there's guys who like Halloween, but I think it's like the idea of like dressing up and like being like, because you and I are both like, we don't need to do the hot girl characters. It's fun to get hot for Halloween. Yeah. But you and I also love like, if it's funny, it's funny. Like,
or just getting silly or big, or like, one of my favorite costumes I ever did was David Bowie.
That was unfucking real. You're David Bowie? Wait, do you remember the one year when we went with Cody and Dan?
And we went as Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. So one year for Halloween with Dan Harmon and Cody Heller, and Dan Harmon was having a party at Starburns, which was like an epic Halloween party.
It was like, oh shit, we're going to the Starburns party. It felt very like we are in Hollywood.
Oh, that was a very Hollywood Halloween. And then you dressed up as the fairy, the Good Witch.
And you were the Wicked Witch of the West.
I was the Wicked Witch. And then Cody was Tin Man? Was Cody Tin Man?
Cody was the Tin Man. Yeah.
And then Dan was
Dorothy.
And then Barbara was Toto.
That's so right. You know, I think that was my very first video ever on Instagram. Do you remember taking that video of me? You had a pill, like a bottle of like, I think it was Benadryl, and I like opened the bottle and I poured a bunch of pills into my hand, and you had the camera on me go, Glinda, what are you doing? And I looked at you and I went, you don't just wake up a good witch. Still one of my favorite things that we ever did.
You should repost it. I think you should repost that for Halloween this year. For sure.
I think I will.
And then I remember my video. I think it was one of my first video. There was that hammer, the giant hammer thing. Because it was a carnival. He had like fun and games at Starburns. It was amazing.
That was crazy.
Dan, reopen Starburns office. Have another party, please. It was the best party.
Just have it be a Halloween.
Maybe I can convince them to have like an actual Halloween party. Because that would be so fun. I should talk to Cody.
I won't be here.
I want a Halloween, but like on Halloween. Like you'll be
on
here
Halloween?
on an actual Halloween. You would.
Oh, yeah.
Like a midweek, a real, like an adult Halloween.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be amazing. All right, I'll talk to Cody. But there was that.
Is it one that knows if we go as Rick and Morty? Okay.
That'd be amazing. Dan's like, you guys have to
Get the fuck
leave.
out.
This is just absurd. But there was the hammer thing where you hit the hammer and it goes up to the top, and I remember I got it and I was like, oh my God. It's so weird to like watch videos, because I remember getting dressed for that Halloween and I just felt like I remember I was wearing these shorts that were like really tight, and I just remember being really uncomfortable in my clothes and being like, oh God, I've gained so much weight. Like I remember being physically uncomfortable in those shorts because they were so small.
She was a stick.
And then I look back at it and I'm like, oh my God, I was so thin. It's just the shorts happened to have been very short,
they
tiny
were an
shorts.
assless pair of shorts.
Like I don't ever wear like shorts that short, but I was trying to do like sexy bad witch. Anyway.
You were in tiny shorts?
I was wearing shorts with it, yeah.
When I remember you, I picture you in like a witch's robe.
No, I did.
Which is so
I was just wearing all black.
I was
wearing all black, and then I was in green face.
Maybe it was just green face.
I'm gonna get canceled.
Yeah. Don't come for us, witches. All right, well.
Anyway, all right. Let's get to the book.
Okay, it's happening. It is the spiciest chapter in the book.
This is when the juices be juicin'.
Juicy, juicy, loosey-goosey, squirty. I don't know what I'm saying.
Squirty McDirty, someone
gets hurt. Well, now what?
Here's what's so awesome to me is that we are so used to this archetype of like women in like fairy tales, which this is literally a fairy tale.
Yeah. Women
in fairy tales are virginal. Yeah. And the dope thing is like Feyre's not a virgin.
No, Feyre has booked.
She's by the way, she's been casually boning. So it's not like having sex is this big F deal for her. Why did I just say F? Like big fucking deal for her. Who am I?
We're talking about cum, and then you're like,
I'm like, she is just fucking blowing loads all over his face. BFD. So anyway, the chapter 27 opens with Feyre losing sleep about Amarantha.
She's like, who is this woman? What does it all mean?
Anywho, so then Tamlin comes into her room and he's like, hey girl, by the way, I'm sending you home. It's not safe for me to have you here.
It's also just, she's like, what about the treaty?
Yeah. Which is fucked, because he's like, don't worry, I'll assume all consequences.
And it's like, you could have done that the whole fucking time. Fuck you, dude.
Fuck you.
Oh, now that I like you, hello, avoidant.
Oh God.
What is that called?
Avoidant attachment. By the way, have you been therapized about all of this because of Instagram? Attachment styles. All I get is attachment styles on Instagram.
I'm OG. I was therapized way before it started showing up on my Instagram.
Oh, really?
I started it on Instagram.
You're like, okay? I am the one who invented the term avoidant.
I gave you the book attached.
Credit. Yes,
and you have not given it back.
What?
You haven't read it, have you?
No, I haven't. What? I'm attached to the book, though. That's what's important. It's in my room. I know exactly where it is.
Anxious, avoidant.
Anyhow, she's really upset.
She's like, have I done something wrong? She's like, but let me stay and help you fight.
What, a cold? There's nothing you can do, Feyre. Like, what are you gonna fight? Dust?
Yeah. You're human.
You and the lady that looks like a fucking tree. Just, what are you gonna stay in the room, dress up?
Make like an Alice and leave.
Make like an Allison leaf because she looks like a
And he's
tree.
like, I can't. He's afraid he can't protect her because he can't even protect himself.
By the way, the fact is, he can't protect her.
No.
I'm just saying.
Protection is, I don't know, I was going to try to make something rhyme and I couldn't.
Okay, so he's like, I can't protect you. I love you so much. He doesn't say I love you. He's like, I care about you so much. But, you know, when you get home, I'm sending you home. When you get home, make sure you go along with the whole story that was created by the glamour.
Yeah, don't mention me. Don't mention our romance.
Don't mention anything.
I never happened.
This is what's going to protect you from Amarantha, this fucking scary ass woman.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't want her to come after you. So just don't mention it. Don't talk about anything. That makes sense too, because I remember like way earlier in the book when Lucian just casually said a sentence of like, oh, it's from the shitholes of hell. And then he's like, I shouldn't have said that. So it's like, just the glamour will still be in place. Pretend you're coming back from your dead aunt's fucking house.
All right. So
and then,
then they start boning. Here's my favorite part is the way Sarah describes the orgasm.
It's so funny talking about this while for those just listening, I am absolutely holding my dog like a baby because she refuses to leave my lap.
So wait, here we go.
Oh, but even though he was like, what does he say where she's like, give me everything? Does she say give me everything?
Give me everything. He goes, he goes, the full force of that wild, unrelenting High Lord's power focused solely on me, and I felt the storm contained beneath his skin, so capable of sweeping away everything I was, even in its lessened state. But I could trust him, trust myself to weather that mighty power. I could throw all that I was at him, and he wouldn't balk. Give me everything.
I could throw all I was. You're a wisp compared to him. And let me just say this, as a small woman who has once, this is TMI, but once I had sex with a very large man. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was going to die. There was a point where I was like, this man is going to, by the way, not even from, he had like, his situation was relative to his.
But his physical size.
But his physical just like handling me. I was like, he's going to break me.
Oh, stunning. I haven't had that often. I've had it a few times. And when I've had it, I was just like, can you break me, please? Throttle this pelvis.
Sniffing my nipples as I'm talking about this.
She's so cute right now. It's kind of crazy. Hold on, let me get a picture of this real quick.
You guys, I'm sitting here talking about being nearly broken in half. My dog smells the microphone underneath my shirt and is absolutely sniffing my nipples.
All right, great. Let me keep reading. He lunged, a beast freed of its tether, over a tangle of limbs and teeth, and I tore at his clothes until they were on the floor, then tore at his skin until I marked him down his back, his arms. His claws were out, but devastatingly gentle on my hips as he slid down between my thighs and feasted on me. Stopping only after I shuddered and fractured. See, he broke her.
Fractured.
I was moaning his name when he sheathed himself inside me in a powerful, slow thrust that had me splintering around him.
Splintering around him. Does that sound like she's ripping in half?
Ripping in half.
Limbs ripped apart.
Rip me open. Anyways, this next line is my favorite. We moved together, unending and wild and burning, and when I went over the edge the next time, he roared and went with me. So he let her come once, and then the second time he was like, all right, you're going to pop off, and then I'm going to pop off at the same time. And I have to say, there is something about coming at the same time as someone else. It really feels like such an accomplishment.
It feels so magical.
So magical. Also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but have you ever let a man come inside you? We don't need to answer that. We know the answer is yes. So when a dude comes... What? No?
No.
Really?
I'm not on birth control.
Oh, I've been on birth control. The penis grows like an extra like little chunk when you let someone come inside you, so you can feel it grow inside you. It's unreal. Can't recommend it enough.
Wow. I want to know how many men, how many husbands and boyfriends randomly had sex with their wives one night and were scratched to near death. I had no idea why, because trying to recreate it. That's all I could think about reading this. Because
every woman started scraping the shit out of her husband after this.
Yeah, and it's like the first time I read this, I was like, oh my God. And then I read it again, and it's because I've already read it. It was of course, a little less like, oh my God. But I'm just picturing, this feels weird hang on, Moki. You have to get down, because now's not the time. It just feels weird to imagine a woman is laying down reading this book and imagining this like beautiful man making love to them, and then in comes their husband who's like, oh, yeah, you like that? I mean, like, it's like then you have to go back to
this
fucking
whole thing is probably
Ned or whatever.
Really big disappointment for some women. I'm gonna be honest. It probably is a big disappointment for like to read this and then you have to like go back to like Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
It's like, just go home to your...
Yeah, then you're just getting pounded from behind. You're like, right.
He's just jackhammering you, and meanwhile Tamlin's splintering her pussy.
I think every woman should just accidentally leave that page open.
Yeah, you guys, I need you to make this pussy splinter.
Splinter me, daddy. And then he turns into Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And then immediately, I love a cartoon turtle.
Rat.
I gotta be honest, the next 2 chapters, kind of a snooze fest. After the boning.
Yeah, where do you go from there? It's sort of just like a cigarette and a nap, really, but...
Also, if you have read the other books, if you don't want any form of a spoiler at all, just skip ahead for the next, like, I don't know, minute.
You better keep it to a minute if you're going to say that.
It's going to be 1 minute. Spoiler starting now. Knowing what's coming and who's making who come and how hard they're going to come in the next book makes this scene feel like fucking child's play.
Yeah, it does make it go like, all right,
relax.
Sure.
Oh, you splintered?
Oh, you thought you were splintered?
Oh, you thought your pussy was breaking? Oh,
little
you
pussy
don't
boo-boo.
even know what's gonna happen.
You're about to be shattered. Anyway.
Spoiler over.
All right. Are we going to the next chapter?
Next chapter.
All right. Okay, listen, we might have left out a crucial thing in our horniness over chapter 27.
Listen. He said I love you in his fit of sleepiness. She
was dozing off, and he's like,
I love you. And she was like...
It's also, what a coward move to be like, I'll just whisper it. Because as much as she goes, I think I just imagined that, it's also avoidant attachment.
Back to her fucking attachment theory bullshit.
To go, I'll just throw it out there, but in a way that I can go like, oh, I didn't say that.
I was dozing off.
I was dreaming.
I was under the influence. I had just come. You know, I was all...
You're not who you really are.
Loopy, because I drained my swamp balls.
Which I would argue if a man says he loves you after he comes, that means more. Because he already got what he wanted.
Yeah, he got what he wanted. True. Anywho.
She just says like I don't want to pretend I didn't hear that.
Yeah. She fully heard it, pretended like she didn't hear it, took that and was just like, he loves me. By the way, that wasn't established in the book. That's just our take on it.
Yeah,
she did recognize it. She did recognize it.
Yeah. The next morning, it's like, she's fucking leaving.
Yeah, he is sending her off immediately. Lucian's like, why are you sending her off so quickly? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Alice is getting her ready. She gives her this frilly dress that's going to make her look like
a
human dress. And she was just like, oh my God, I can't believe humans wore this. He asks, Lucian's like, can you just give her a few more days? I love how Lucian is like her biggest fan now.
Yeah. What's up with Lucian?
Yeah, Lucian went from not liking her at all to being like, no, don't make her go so quickly. I want you to stay.
Don't go away. She's my friend.
And Tamlin's like, no, she's safer in the mortal realm.
He's like, it's not up for debate. I fucking said to your home.
This is my favorite part. My favorite part is there's just the most childish bullshit love. She's like, I'm leaving. You can have all my paintings.
Oh, good. Your shitty art. What a gift. He says, I love you, and she's like, you can have my drawings. You can have my splatter paints of trees.
You want my finger paints? Here are my finger paints. You made me come, and you said I love you, and here are my paintings.
No, what? You're pretending it's for him. You don't want to bring your paintings in to Nesta and have her criticize.
Yeah, dude, if there's one person who will roast your paintings, it's Nesta. I mean, she's going to roast anything. Listen, based on who Nesta is, I mean, I am sure Feyre is terrified of going home to that sister. I haven't heard one good thing about her. Everyone hates Nesta.
Nesta is a fucking bitch, and now it's like, not only do I finally have this moment where we're opening up, I'm feeling safe here, I'm feeling loved, I might actually be loved by this guy. And he's like, get out.
Get out. And now she has to go home to her number one bully.
Yeah, her family.
Her family.
He doesn't go with her either.
By the way, he says he loves her again. She does not say it back. He's like, I'll definitely see you again. He puts her in a carriage and, puts a magic spell on her. And then
he's like, I love you. She just looks at him and then is like,
and then she wakes up in front of this massive house.
It's gargantuan.
There's servants everywhere. And she sees her sister.
They come out, they don't recognize her.
They're like, hello. And I'm like, you don't recognize your own? No.
How skinny was she?
By the way.
People like, she's got a glow. It's like, no, bitch, you gained 30 pounds. Yeah. Have you ever run into someone from like high school and they've gained weight? I once ran into someone I had a crush on and they were like, Jessica. And I looked at them and had not a clue who they were.
No clue.
And then it hit me and I was like,
oh, you done got big.
I think either way, like if someone was big and lost a lot of weight, like, it's crazy how easily someone can like disappear in front of your eyes.
There is a girl in the comedy community, and we'll talk about it off camera, but there's a girl in the
comedy community. I love how we're like,
and
we'll talk shit when the camera's off. Just kidding.
There's a girl in the comedy community. You'll know exactly who I'm talking about when I tell you who it is, because I'm going to tell you who it is, so you'll know who I'm talking about. But there's a girl who was a bigger girl at one point, and then lost, I don't even know how much weight, but she lost a considerable amount of weight to the point where it's like, every time I see her, I'm like, oh, I forgot you're that girl. Like, that's crazy.
Really?
Yeah. We'll talk about it later. This is sorry for the insider talk.
But it is just like it's amazing in both directions how that can change your perspective. And she's like, hey guys, it's me. And they're like, oh my God, does this mean Aunt Ripley died? The idea that they're mourning this woman who, by the way, never existed now.
Here's what's crazy is they're like, did you get her fortune? And she's like, yes, I got her fortune. She rolls up with like a whole carriage with all of her like rich aunt's
filled with jewels.
Even more money. And her dad, by the way, we meet her dad's there and I'm so excited to see her. And immediately he's like, what you got in the carriage? And he just starts taking an inventory of everything in the carriage. By the way, her dad is the happiest man now that he has his fortune
his
back.
eyes are clear. His leg is even better.
He can walk again. Everything's going great for Papa. Money buys happiness.
Yeah.
End of story.
Whoever said money, you know what? You know who says money doesn't buy happiness? A person who has never had money.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've never been on a boat.
Yeah. Daniel Tosh has that joke where he goes, money doesn't buy but have you been on a jet ski?
A jet ski.
You try and frown on a jet ski. And he does this act out where he's like.
That's so funny. My reference was just, I forget whose song it was. Forgive me, but there's a country song where they're talking about money doesn't buy happiness, but they go, it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck.
Listen. End of story. Money buys happiness.
Yeah.
You're not going to be eternally happy.
Yeah, also if you have a bunch of money, you're like, money doesn't buy... You either have never had money, or you've had money your entire life, and you don't know what it's like to not have money.
Yeah.
And you have the privilege of being depressed from your 4-poster golden bed, where you're like, nothing can make me happy.
I have a canopy over my bed, and
It's called taking it for granted.
I'm telling you, until you have eaten off of the plate of a dish that a customer sent back in a restaurant over the sink with the other busboys and you're all eating it together, I don't trust you. I want to know that you've struggled to that point.
You need to starve a little to appreciate what you have.
I want you to eat someone else's leftovers quickly so your boss doesn't see you because it's a health code violation. All right, great. So there's servants everywhere. They're talking about the aunt who died. Elaine was like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. A stranger showed up and we just got all our money back.
They found the stuff that went missing.
All of this. And so the cargo that had gone missing is intact. It's back. It's
also, you can make cargo that went missing come back, or I guess, what did they, like, recreate the cargo? But you can't stop a couple monsters from coming on your lawn.
Yeah. Come on, Tamlin.
Fucking, what are we doing?
But the best part of this is the dad's so happy. He's right back to being the same old rich papa. He's like, my daughter's back. I shall throw a ball.
A ball. Imagine, dude, I can't even get people to get their ass off the couch when I go home for the holidays.
Yeah.
This man's throwing a ball.
A ball.
I want to go to a ball.
And then for some reason, Feyre's like remembers the advice that the Suriel gave her about staying with the High Lord. I'm like,
yeah, she starts being like, did I make the wrong choice? Because that was the one piece of advice. The Suriel's like, stay with the High Lord. And now, little late to be like, oops.
yeah. Anyhow, like I said, that chapter is boring. The next chapter is even more boring. Let's just move right into it.
Yeah.
Chapter 29, the trunks are filled with the trunks that she came with from Tamlin, which is from her aunt. There's jewels and blah, blah, blah,
Ripley.
whatever.
I can't.
Anyhow, so...
Believe it or not, Aunt Ripley.
Elaine is like, come see the garden. Elaine got really into gardening. That's what happens when you're rich. You get into gardening.
Yeah, you have nothing to worry about.
You either become philanthropic or you garden.
Or you paint, I guess. But
Yeah, you paint. Those are the, you know what? Extracurriculars. That's
Yeah.
what it is when you're rich. You have extracurriculars.
yeah, poor people don't garden; they farm.
Yeah. It's really funny. Yeah, that's literally it.
What a difference. Yeah, you can't just grow things for the beauty of it. They have to feed your family when you're poor.
Now, Feyre's like, hey, Elaine, why are you here? Why aren't you traveling for socialite season? So now that they're back to being rich, they're back to socialite season, which is where you find a mate, blah, blah,
It's
blah, whatever.
Bridgerton.
And by the way, this is so Bridgerton. When I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is Bridgerton. Elaine says that the season has been strange because people ignored how poor they had been for the last 8 years.
Yeah, like they came back and everyone was just like, well, that's weird. We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, and like that's fucked up. And you know who else thought it was fucked up is Nesta. And this was the one moment where I was like, maybe Nesta's not just a bitch. Maybe she's right. Like I have a lot of respect for Nesta that she was like, I'm not falling for your fucking bullshit. We were poor. You had nothing to do with us. I don't care. I'm over it.
Yeah, she's like, fuck you. I'm not going to... Yeah, because they talk about how, families are willing to overlook that now that our money's back. And I'm glad that she's not with anyone, that neither of them went and like put up with someone who completely ignored them. And I'm glad she's not with
Did the way Nesta handled this, did that make you like Nesta more?
No.
Oh, it made me like her a little bit more. Because I was like, the woman
who wants nothing to do with anyone wants nothing to do with anyone?
Well,
I can't believe it.
I was imagining that Nesta got the money back and she was like, all is forgiven. I really thought that's how she was going to handle it.
Like her trying to go back into high society. Yeah, she just was so excited to be back.
Yeah, she's just so excited to be back and she's like, I'll do anything to be back in it. But she wasn't. She was just like, nah, dudes, fuck all y'all.
Here's what I think. I think she will never know. We may never know. I bet when the money and everything first came around, her initial instinct is, thank God I can go be around the people who understand me. And then when she showed up and nobody even acknowledged what they went through, or like they just pretended it didn't exist, she was like, oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah. We like Nesta now, a little bit, no?
Don't.
Okay, I like Nesta now. I like Nesta a little bit because of this. That might all change. Anyway,
she's just a bitch I will say she's a bitch all around. She doesn't... she's
an equal opportunity bitch.
Being a bitch.
She is an equal opportunity bitch for sure.
I prefer a 100% bitch to a fake bitch every time.
One of the things that is kind of established about Nesta is that she is really cut from a different cloth than everyone else. Like, of all the characters in this world, the human world and the fairy world, Nesta is kind of like her own creature.
Yeah, I mean, Feyre even says that when she's thinking about Nesta. It's like she's just different.
Yeah.
And she does equate her to, like, it's almost like she's like a different, I don't want to say species.
Yeah.
But like she says something, I forget the word.
She's her own creature kind of thing.
Yeah, that it's like she was never really like any of us. She had this extra something.
So one thing I like that was established that kind of creates like maybe she is smarter than we all think, is that Nesta was like, oh, I'm going to go find Feyre at our aunt's house. And she went to go find Feyre and the carriage broke down.
Mysteriously broke down, and it was just easier, like one weekend, it was easier for her to like, I guess, just turn around.
So she came back.
But it already feels like she's like a little suspicious.
I love that. See, and these are the moments where I start to like Nesta a little bit more because I'm like, she's not dumb. She's not dumb. She's a fucking bitch, but she's not a dumb dumb.
No. And it's also, there's something to be, what's weird is that, no, I guess it's not fair to say she just sort of laid down and took it in terms of their poverty. She didn't do anything to help the family, Nesta, but it did seem like she was like, I guess, in a sense of denial about their situation, like it would come to an end. But it did.
Yeah.
Like, so Was she wrong? I hope that you... Ginny?
Stop licking your paws.
Stop licking your paws. I hope you guys can't hear my dog. Absolutely.
Just chowing down on a paw. Yeah, it's Ginny, you're a good girl.
Yeah.
I love also in this chapter when Feyre takes a bag of money and goes to the village. I don't know if she gave it out, but that's the way it made it seem.
Yeah, I think that's happening next. It's like she has money bagged up. I'm curious. I guess I'm fuck blind. I do not remember. Like, I remember the major plot point that's coming at the, like, end of the book. Like, if I had broken
I don't remember anything. After they came, I blacked out.
Yeah, I'm in a post-sex haze.
Yeah.
I'm like, goes to the village with bags of money. I'm now guessing, like, is she going to try to pay back the, what's her name?
Yeah, by the way, still wondering about her.
Yeah. I have read this book, loved this book. The reason I believe you got into it is because I was like, I'm sure you had heard of it before, but I hassled you. Like, loved it so much I've been preaching about it, and I can't for the life of you
certain
tell me
parts
what's
I don't
coming
remember
next.
at all. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I know we don't spend a lot of time in human land. I don't think.
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I don't think you could. I don't think there's a world where you couldn't go back. Like, or at least encounter. Yeah. Re-encounter.
I like also, by the way, that she like goes back to her old house and is like, meh. I mean, it was like, well, you know, it was a home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was interesting that her talking with Elaine in the garden made her... I feel two ways about this. I'm, I guess, divided. Mm-hmm. She goes, you know, I always thought she resented their home. It was like this tiny thing. And she realized that Elaine saw, like, was hopeful. Like, she saw their house as, like, she was grateful for it because it was shelter versus being mad that it was this tiny thing that was crumbling. Yeah. And the chapter ends with her being like, that moment made her realize who the strong one of us really is. And it's like, because your dumb sister had hope. Sorry. Because she's like, it was a woo.
Feyre, you were still the strongest, period. Yeah. You were the strongest. Just because she had fucking hope, you were the one slinging arrows and daggers to keep the family alive. Her. Yeah. Yeah, she's like, it's nice to have hope when you didn't have to hunt for your food.
Yeah, she's like, I just, I look back and I think of it fondly. No, you're high on chrysanthemum fumes. Get out of the garden.
By the way, chrysanthemum. Does it smell good? I don't know.
Is that a funeral flower?
It feels like a...
Somebody told me that once, and I just accepted it.
I'm trying to think of, like, besides roses, lilacs I know the smell of.
Lilacs? Is that how you say that?
Lilac.
Lilac?
I say lilac.
Lilac. Like Shylock?
Like...
He's one of those lilacs. What?
They're related to the Shylocks. Lilacs, the cousins of the Shylocks. Lilac.
Yeah. Lilacs, much louder than Shylocks. They kind of keep to themselves. They're shy.
They're liars. The Shylocks who really lie, lilacs.
I'm from a family of loud locks. Lots of hair.
It's funny. It is literally, you're a loud lock. She's loud and has a ton of hair. If you guys don't know her,
we're running away with
she's
these puns.
So much hair.
We're punning away.
We're having a pun run. I think that's it. That's all.
That's it. So honestly,
we both of us literally don't know what comes next. Like, we know ultimately what happens in this book, but right now
we don't know.
If you put a gun to our head and be like, what happens in the next chapter, we would be dead.
We'd be dead.
No, not even a kind of clue.
Not even a peep. I want to ask really quick, and we won't delve into it, but for people who don't know, you are still reading the series. Mm-hmm. Where are you at?
I'm in book 3 right now.
Book 3. All right.
I'm like halfway through book 3.
All right. Well,
it's so weird to be doing both of the books at the same time.
Do you get like fucked up, or does it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I can go back and forth seamlessly.
Do you think it like helps your character analysis, kind of like how you feel about people in
a little bit?
In book 3
a little
more,
bit.
Like, do you think it changes how you feel about them because you're being like reminded of their whole?
Yeah. It really is. It really is. I cannot emphasize this enough. If this is your first time reading it, you can read this again. It is so good again. I didn't know if it was going to be this good again, and it is.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what if I read it again? I'm like, this hunk of crap.
Yeah, because I was like, oh no, what if this feels like a labor, like a chore that we have to read this? And I'm just like, every time I'm reading it, I'm like, oh yeah.
It's so good.
It is fun to like rediscover it.
Yeah.
Especially all the parts we don't remember because we were in a cum haze.
Yeah. And that's the real lesson here is check your surroundings.
Yeah. And when you come, give it a minute before you try reading again because you are in a cum haze.
Yeah. And it's also like that really is a testament to why I'm not someone who's like, obviously I'm not someone who's like wait till marriage, but why you shouldn't fuck someone right away is because it gives you that hazy fucking, they're great. And it's like, are they? Or did you just come and they're okay?
Yeah.
Anyway.
With that said, see you guys next week.
Hang in there. This has been another delightful episode of Two Filthy Nerds. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe wherever you're listening or watching and leave us a nice rating or review. To see fun clips and interact with us, please follow the podcast on Instagram at Two Filthy Nerds, and you can follow the hosts at Nicole, Aimée, and at JMS Comedy. Thanks for listening, nerds. See you out there.